Chamber of Commerce, and we are excited to continue our webinar series with our sponsor Square Inc. and our supporters out at New Mexico Tech. So we really appreciate you guys supporting this effort, which is to get the small businesses in our community the information that they need. Sometimes it helps to hear people talk about it more than read about it. We know, because we've been reaching out to all of our membership, about how many people are getting all these emails and they're like, I can't kind of disseminate all the information. And so our hopes with this webinar series is that we're going to be able to help you guys go through everything little by little and be able to break down all of the information that you have and really pick what's pertinent to your business. So today's topic is going to be all about breaking down the SBA loan, the loan process, sharing some stats. So before we get to our panelists, I just want to say couple of things. Right now, one of the reasons we started the webinar series is because we put out a survey and it's been really great. We've had really great response on the survey, but we want to continue to have that response with the survey. So there will be a link to the survey attached to this post in Facebook. You can also find us at www.ahcnm.org, which is our website, and you can, right at the very front homepage is the click to the survey, and it's also inside the COVID pages as well on our website. That survey really is a simple 5-question, 5-minute type survey. We're trying to find out what businesses are open and what are some of the reentry plans as we get closer to when we get to reboost our economy again. And then also just some information about what you guys are needing from us during this time. And we take that and we're putting it together with some experts in the areas that you're looking for and breaking those down. And so we've had, like I said, some great response on the surveys. We want to thank all of you that have participated, and we hope to continue to get your participation. So today's topic is SBA loans, and that has been a huge thing because of the fact that that's one of the biggest things that small businesses need right now is funding and funding opportunities. And so I'd like to start by introducing our panelists today from the Small Business Administrative Office here in Albuquerque. We have Marico, who is their PIO, and we're going to bring him on just in a second. And then we also have with us today Erin Gondra. And Erin, if you will take it away and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thank you to Square and to New Mexico Tech. Obviously to the Small Business Administration. I know how busy they are right now. My name is Erin Gondra. I'm with Elevar Business Advisors. I'm myself a small business. My company outsources chief financial officer, accounting, bookkeeping, and chief operating officer work. And so my team comes in and helps you do that on a part-time or a full-time basis. And obviously just being a small business, and then most of my clients are small businesses with under 10 employees, where we have been hit the hardest, and we are the ones that are out here trying to figure out, you know, the logistics of the land.
And also, for those of you joining us, Erin is also the board treasurer here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. So her vast knowledge in numbers has really been handy this month, but also for her clients as well. And then Marico, if you'll please jump in. He's joining us from the phone today. If you could jump in and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Marico Zanatti. I'm the SBA New Mexico District Office Public Information Officer, also the Economic Development Specialist. Pretty much that's about it. Just here to go over all the loan process and how to find it on our website, and to share some of the numbers that came out on the 13th of April.
Okay, great. So we're excited to hear those numbers, but that will definitely end us on a positive note. I got to spend some time with John Garcia, who is the director over at SBA yesterday, to kind of break down some of those numbers. And I was really excited to hear that is good news, and we want to stay as positive as we can in the community. So Erin, if you could start us off a little bit, tell us a little bit about some of how you're working through this with your clients, and give us some of your expertise in this, because I know you've been working on this really hard the last couple of months. So take it away.
Thank you. So absolutely. What's been, I think, the most challenging is two things that are going to sound polar opposite, but really, what I think definitely Marico and yourself will understand is that there's been an overwhelm of information and there's been an underwhelm of information. And so that's been really difficult. I do want to do I do want to be positive about it as well, and just give my, put my hat off to the banks, to the SBA, to everybody who's working tirelessly. I myself used to be a banker when I first started out years ago when I was in college, and I know that they're working around the clock right now. I know SBA is working around the clock, but regardless of that, what's happening is that the government is really trying to get funding out to people as quickly as possible. And we didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't know how quickly or how easy it was going to be to get done. And then we have to understand that everybody has different processes. Everybody has different information and things like that. So what I've been trying to do is make myself as much of an expert as I can so that I can gather all the different places of information, put that together, and then provide that to my clients as it applies to their industry. Because there isn't just, and I know this is about SBA funding, but there are other funding sources as well. And so just going out there and understanding what the available sources are, what the available information is out there, and putting it all together into one more concise package for my clients. So, on that, we've had a lot of information that's come out this week. You see that the SBA is getting through a lot of the applications they're pushing through. So I'm excited to hear about the numbers that Mariko is talking about also. And what we're seeing is that people are finally getting funding, and really they're just working through hundreds of thousands of applications that are out there. And what I have helped my clients do is basically just tell them, these are the 14 things that you need. Give me this information. We can help you file it. We can help you get that information together. And then we also, my company, are working with a lot of the lenders on the lending side for the PPP loan. And so we know who is lending, who has their process down, who has less red tape, to be quite honest with you, because a lot of the banks have, obviously they're banks and have that red tape. And so we have found that people are trying. I don't want to be negative about it because I know that they're trying. I know that they're pushing. I have had 2 of my clients already receive some of the grant funding from the SBA, which is $1,000 up to $10,000 per employee that you have. So that has already come through, which is really exciting. And then we are seeing responses and email responses of, hey, we have your application. We want you to know we do, because there was a little confusion in the beginning, and now it's a streamlined process where you fill out a 2-page, questionnaire basically, and then you get notified by someone with the SBA. So a lot of people are getting notifications, phone calls, emails, and things like that.
So, Erin, can you just share with us a little bit about the actual process? I know that Miracle is going to be able to tell us about actually where to go to apply and how to do that, because I know there's several different venues and how you can apply. Like you said, they're all different. But no matter where you apply for this money, can you tell us a little bit about how much can you apply for? What are some of those restrictions, I guess, and what are some of the guidelines? And then I want to tackle this new 2-part or 2-page, application, because in the beginning it was quite an application process, and I know that's been cleaned up too. So let's share a little bit about that.
I think where some of the confusion is once the CARES Act was passed, a lot of us, especially those of us that have been affected, and then those of us who have clients that were affected, just immediately went to the SBA website and we're like, okay, we need to all apply for all the things. And what happened was the SBA already has a program in place for the EDIL, which is the Economic, and Mariko, please stop me if I say this incorrectly, because sometimes I think I get it wrong, but the Economic Disaster Income something?
It's actually the Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
Thank you. That's what I meant. EIDL.
EIDL. Yeah.
Yeah. So that already exists in the SBA world, and what people were confused at is that they were told that that's what they're supposed to apply for, but really they hadn't rolled out the Corona-specific EIDL at that point. And so people were putting that application in, and then the SBA came in, or whomever, and said, okay, this is way more complicated than it needs to be. Let's go ahead and put this online form together that literally you need limited information. And what that information is essential information about your business. What's your EIN? Who are the owners of the business? Do you have your articles of incorporation with your state? basically, are you a legit business? And so it's asking you about that. And then it asks you 2 basic questions about your income and your expenses. Now, I'm not saying that's it, and then you get a fancy check in the mail. Obviously, Miracle will talk a little bit more about that. You do get contacted, and there is, a lender that actually contacts you, or a loan officer with the SBA that asks you for more information. But at the minimum, just to get yourself in the queue, the information is very limited that you would need to do that. So that's one of the ways. I think another confusing thing that my clients are being told is some of the lenders are giving information that isn't exactly aligning. I've been on all the SBA calls that they've been doing locally, that John's been doing and his team, with you guys as well, and on the ACI calls and all of that. And so there is another avenue with SBA that allows you to borrow money through, and it's the P3 program is what some of people are calling it for short. And I'm not even going to pretend to the payment protection program, I think, but I've heard payroll protection program. I've heard a lot of different things. So that one you apply, though it is SBA backed, you apply with your lender. Now it doesn't have to, excuse me, does not have to be your lender specifically, but it's a good place to start, is to go with your lender. That one is a little bit more robust. Obviously the lenders are asking for a little bit more information. And what was great is that in the first week that all these programs came out, I applied for everything myself, just so I could also be knowledgeable on what the process was for my clients. And so a lot of the banks have done a great job, especially some of the community banks that are smaller here in New Mexico, locally owned and operated banks, where they've made the application 5 pages, which seems like it's not a lot, but it really isn't, compared to a standard loan application. And then there's the SBA portion of that application, which is included in there. It's also only 2 pages. And so there is a lot of people out there that are trying to streamline the process. So again, what's your revenue for the last 12 months? What's your expenses for the last 12 months? And then for that P3 program, people are obviously, because it's payroll specific, they're going to ask for your payroll reports for the last several months as well. So those are the 2 biggest programs. The funding levels vary, and it varies on what your income is, what your expenses are. You can borrow. I mean, the EIDL does allow you to borrow up to $2 million depending on your status, but obviously they're not just going to hand out $2 million to every single person. So again, Mariko can talk a little bit more about that, but I have been fairly impressed, even though, it's hurry up and wait sometimes. That's no different than the standard underwriting business, banking process. And so people are obviously very scared. A lot of my clients are in the hospitality industry. And so we've literally closed our doors for those, and it's been horrible. So I know people are just stressed about it, but things are happening, things are moving. And it's really exciting to see that they're making it so easy. I mean, what I have also told some of my clients is, we need to all apply for this funding because A, it's available, and B, this is going to help us rebuild our economy. Obviously, don't borrow the money if you don't absolutely need it, but I don't know, not one of my clients doesn't need it. I can tell you that. We've all been affected by this in some way.
Sure. So before we move over, I think the one thing that is exciting, and again, we here at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber, just like with SBA, just like with business owners such as Aaron with Elevar Business, you're dealing with small business owners. And one thing that I think sometimes we can't wrap our brain around is the fact that this has been happening less than 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, when we talk about a fluid society and a fluid community and what we're doing right now, I think where we were 6 weeks ago and where we are today changes minute by minute. And, even the process to apply for these loans has changed in the last couple of weeks. And so I think that we always have to remind small business owners and the community and the public that I believe that all of these people that support small business and all these organizations that support small business are really doing the best that they can, given the constraints and the time frames that we're in. And to hear that actually money is being dispersed already is actually really great. That's faster than a lot of loans that happen when we don't have COVID. So I feel really good. And with that, I'd love for Mariko to take over and kind of share with us, what information that we need, as well as give us some stats of what's happening with SBA.
Yeah, sure. So first up, I'd like to just say that there are actually 4 programs out there under our funding opportunities for COVID. And that's the EIDL, the EIDL loan, the Paycheck Protection Program, which is the 2 most common, but there's also the Express Bridge loans and the debt relief. And I'll talk a little bit about each, but I want to start with the EIDL loan. So it has been reported this week that—
You cut out for just, a second. Yeah, no, it's okay. You know, guys, just so everybody knows.
Am I okay?
You're better now, and I'll just jump in here real quick, just so everybody knows. We started this webinar series on Monday, and we had trouble on Monday, we had trouble yesterday, and we had trouble today. And so Zoom was not connecting to Facebook, so we're having to pre-record these, and then we're going to play them. So we're all dealing with some technology issues, so I don't mind having you go back and jump in after the EIDL, the Triple P, and then what came after that.
Yeah, so we have the Express Bridge Loan Program and the Debt Relief Program. So I wanted to start with the EIDL loan. This week, people have been calling in saying that they've actually started to see that part of that advance, the $10,000, showing up in their bank accounts. So that money is starting to roll out to New Mexico, which is really great. And then on the 13th, we did get some numbers for the Paycheck Protection Program. And for New Mexico, there's roughly, it's $1,103,000,000 and some change dollars have been approved for the state of New Mexico. Total loans is actually 5,365 loans. Wow. So these are some positive numbers, and we can see that these programs are starting to roll out. What I'd like to say is I encourage everyone to go to the SBA.gov website. Under funding programs, you'll find coronavirus relief options, and it simply breaks down all 4 of these programs. There's a lot of confusion between the 2, and they're mixing the 2 programs that I'm finding out. So I encourage everyone to go through these 4 programs on the SBA.gov and just see which one best fits you. The Paycheck Protection Program, Triple P, is the 1%, and it's there to cover your payroll, basically, 75% of it, and it can be forgiven as long as you can show 75% was towards payroll, and that's to help keep New Mexicans employed. The Express Bridge Loan, okay, it's a loan that's gone under the banks, right? It's an SBA-backed loan written by our lending partners. And it's a loan that's it's an express loan that can go up to $25,000 quickly. But the debt relief, not a lot of information is being fed back to me that people are getting this. But if you have a 7A loan or 504 or a microloan currently, right now under the debt relief, the SBA automatically pay the principal, interest, and fees for a period up to 6 months. So if you have a current 7A loan or a current SBA loan, go to your banker and talk to them about the SBA relief. If you're interested in applying for a 7A, 504, or microloan as a new one, as long as it's issued prior to September 27th, 2020, the same terms apply.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yes. So like I said, I encourage everyone to go to Funding Programs, Coronavirus Relief Options, and read all 4 of these programs. Because like I said, all this information is coming out so fast that it's starting to become blurred, and the lines are becoming blurred, and people don't understand the difference between the 4.
Right.
So really quick, just want to break these down in a much simpler form for everybody watching. Erin did a great job about breaking down the EIDL program. Yesterday, we did a full webinar about the Triple P, or the Payroll Protection Program, or again, what do those acronyms stand for? So we have a little bit more info on that and a better understanding of that and who qualifies and how to qualify. But I just really took some notes here on the debt relief program. So I think what you were saying was, if you currently are a business that holds a 7A, a 504, or a microloan, you could go to the current lending institution that holds your loan and ask for that relief up to 6 months. If that's A. B, you can continue to apply for these loans, and as long as you're approved prior to September 27th, you can also take advantage of that 6-month relief, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great. And then the Express Bridge loans are going to be up to 25,000, and those are also going to be through your lender, through your banker, or is that directly through SBA?
No, it's not. The only thing that's coming directly from the SBA is the EIDL loan. The bridge loan, the Express Bridge Loan Pilot Program, allows small businesses currently who have a business relationship with an SBA Express lender to get up to $25,000 quickly. So if this program seems to fit your needs, I encourage you to go to your lender and talk to them about it.
So here's a question about lending. So we had a couple of questions come out yesterday and haven't had a chance to follow up since we had the technical issues and we're just posting, but haven't had a chance to follow up. Now, a lot of people are questioning about lenders because either they don't have a relationship with the bank, or they're with a very small institution, or in some cases they're with a credit union. So can you tell me a little bit about how these get funded and who other than banks is doing these types of loans?
Well, any of the lending partners you can find on our resource guide. In the back of our resource guide, we have a list of all SBA participating lenders, and it's broken down by city throughout the whole state. You can find that on the SBA New Mexico District webpage, left-hand side, the PDF called New Mexico Resource Guide. And so any of the lenders that are participating with the SBA will be listed in that resource guide. So if your bank is on there, I encourage you to give them a call. And if your bank is not participating, reach out to some of these other lenders and just talk to them.
Okay, that's great. Erin, tell me a little bit about your process now. I've had the privilege of working with Erin outside of the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber. She does business with our family business as well. And tell me a little bit about the process that you're doing with your clients, because I think in some cases what you've done is help them kind of gather all of this information and be prepared. So tell us a little bit about that process.
So with my current clients, a majority of them, I do their books for them. My company does their books for them. My company has all of the information. Sometimes my clients don't even know the information. And so I'm the one who gives it to them. And so what I've just been doing, honestly, and without a fee at this point, is just say, okay, I'm going to apply for everything that I can. And then once you get funding, we'll talk about, my compensation. But I want to get these businesses in New Mexico. You know how passionate I am about the businesses in New Mexico and small business. We're 98% small businesses here. And so, so I've just been doing it for them. I said, oh, by the way, I send them an email. Here's a confirmation. I applied for this, this, and this. This is after a short conversation that I'm having with them over the phone, obviously asking them what they feel comfortable with. And generally, I'm giving them the information for that as well. I'm saying, this is what I think we can do. This is what I think makes sense for your business. And if we get revenue back up to where we were before. And so, yeah, for my current clients, I gather all the information with their financial statements, their business information, and we've just been filing all the applications for them and working with their bankers. Clearly, there's some confidentiality there. So
Sure.
Sometimes I have to have my client on the phone with the banker, but generally we're taking the lead. I am also helping some other businesses that I don't necessarily do their books for them. And so making it clear and concise, and instead of just handing them the application, I have a standard form that we have created, my team created, and we just send that out and say, these are the 15 things of information that we need. And then, hey, if you don't have financial statements, which I have to tell you, a majority of the New Mexico small businesses don't.
Yeah.
And some of the banks are requesting that information, obviously, especially with the PPP loan or the things that are going through the lenders. Then I'm helping them prepare those and making sure they have the information they need to get to the lenders and to the SBA.
So it sounds like, and both of you, please correct me if I'm incorrect, because I want to make sure we're sharing the correct information. You can go directly to your lender, to your bank. If they are not processing the loans at this time, or they are not somebody that is on that, the resource guide for the SBA, you can find a lending institution that is. So you can go directly to them and work with the banker and apply for the loan. or you could get with, which is what happened yesterday when we did the webinar with the PPP program, you could get with your CPA or your business advisor, because a lot of them do hold that information for the small business owners, and then they can help you as well. So you don't have to have a CPA to do it, or a business advisor, but you can. If not, you can go directly to the banks to get this information, correct?
Yep, correct.
So let's talk a little bit about the statistics that we have. What I recently heard about, and I was pretty excited. I know that you said that we're in New Mexico. It's something like 1.3 billion or 1.13 billion dollars that has been approved. 5,365 loans already in the hopper. Where are we at with some other stats? I think this is really good information to share because it lets the public know that this is happening and it is for real. And I think that's the hard part. When you don't see the tangible dollars in your hand, or you don't hear that it's happening, you begin to get discouraged and scared. So let's talk about that a little bit.
So that 5,365, they're already approved loans. They're not in the hopper.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, we don't have numbers from the EIDL loan. That's out of our SBA disaster office. They haven't published those quite yet. And so once we do get those numbers, we can definitely share it with you. But as of the 13th, like I said, 5,365 loans have already been approved under the Paycheck Protection.
That's huge, Aaron. I was really shocked when I heard that yesterday. That really lets us know that people are logging on and finding out information and getting with their institutions to borrow, and that they're getting approved. And that's going to be really great now that we're getting ready to re-stimulate the economy, we hope, coming up soon. And so it's going to really help people get through the next few months, I believe, whether that be payroll or bringing their employees back on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that number. I was on a call with the community bankers a couple weeks ago, and already 2 weeks ago, they were already telling us that they had funded up to 500 loans, a small community bank in Las Cruces.
Wow.
And so that was impressive to me, but to hear that the number's 50 some odd thousand is wonderful. And again, I'm finding, just me, who just has a set of 15 clients, my small little business with 15 clients, already a couple of them have started to see funding. So if those, a small number of those 15 are getting funding, we know that that's happening across the state. Again, everybody is trying. The government is literally saying, we've opened our checkbook to you. This is what we need to do to make sure that people can survive during this unprecedented time.
So another question we have, let's talk really quick about the interest rates on some of these, if you guys don't mind giving. I know we barely touched on it a little bit ago, but let's talk about those interest rates.
So the interest rates, and Mariko, you probably should take this one, I guess. But
so for the EIDL loan, the interest rates are 3.75. Terms can go up to 30 years. Of course, as previously said, everything is case by case. For nonprofits, they can apply for the EIDL loan as well, and it's a 2.75% interest rate. The Paycheck Protection Plan is a 1% interest rate. However, if 75% of that loan can be proven to shown it's gone to payroll, you can request for forgiveness of that 75%. So that's huge.
Wow. That is crazy. That is awesome, because that's really an encouragement to keep your business open, keep your people employed, and do everything that you can to stand by that. That's huge. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that.
The Paycheck Protection Program also allows people to re-employ the ones they had to lay off because they couldn't afford it.
Wonderful. Okay. And that is actually one of the big questions we get here at the Chamber as well. I'm having to lay off my employees. How do I do this? So this is really, really good information. So before we close up, what do you guys want? What would you like to add? How can we close this up and share some good light in the community and letting people know, that this is temporary, even though it hurts really bad, it is temporary. And what do we have to look forward to in the business community, Aaron, and then with SBA as well, Mariko?
Well, from the SBA standpoint, I would like to just give out 2 telephone numbers for individual questions, because everything is so individualized that I can't do a cookie cutter answer. So
True.
we spend a lot of time talking with individuals, business owners, trying to guide them through this process. But the 1-800 number for the EIDL loan program, you'll need your application number, but it's 1-800-659-2955. That is the customer service line that was set up by the disaster office specifically for this loan program. Now, all other questions, you can call us at our district office at area code 505-248-8225. Most of the time, we can get back to you within at 24 hours.
Wow.
To answer any of your questions. Yeah.
That's really amazing, because I know how busy you guys are. So I appreciate you sharing those numbers with us, and we'll make sure that those are posted on this post and link as well, because sometimes even just a phone number helps these days with everybody being so stressed. I can't find this, I can't find that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And Erin, please close us up with what is on the horizon for you and other small businesses that you're working with.
You know, I think that the silver lining through all of this craziness is the best way I can put it, is that we're going to change the way we do business. This entire thing that is happening to the entire world, not just the United States, not just New Mexico, is going to change the way we do business. And I think for the better, just as we are today, you know, technology has obviously been a huge piece. And so, but you know, we're working through those kinks. We're figuring out how to use technology in a way that's unprecedented. We're figuring out a way to teach our children through technology, which is obviously already happening all around the world, but now is in mass numbers. So I'm excited about that. I'm one of those weird accountants that I like change. I like to do things better, faster, quicker, stronger. And I think that this is going to help us do that. Obviously it hurts going through it, but I know that for my clients and my clientele with Elevar is I've just been trying to over communicate to them and give them as much information as possible, even if the answer is, I have heard nothing. But I've also heard that so-and-so got funded. And so I know that I applied for them a day before you, hopefully we're coming up soon. So I think it's important to stay communicative and just remember that let's take this as an opportunity to change things that we needed to change to begin with. But this will fundamentally change the way that businesses are run forever.
Well, and I really think somebody said it best when they posted something recently online that, you know, the social distancing has really brought us together more, is what has happened. And we've learned to communicate in ways we never dreamed of. We have grandparents and parents using Zoom, you know, to stay in touch. And we're learning a technology platform. And we're also learning how to work with the federal government and work with other small businesses to drive traffic and also to learn what is the best way to reintegrate and reopen business and economy in a way that, we're supporting the people that really suffered. At the same time, we're supporting the businesses that were open and have the ability to support others. So it's been an experience for all of us. It's been an experience for the Albuquerque Espano Chamber of Commerce. We are very, very thankful to the relationships that we have in the community, including that with the SBA. And so a big thank you to John Garcia, Ivan Corrales, and his team. And thank you guys so much. And thanks to Erin and our whole board. The whole board here at the Albuquerque Espano Chamber has been really amazing and very responsive. And we thank you guys so much for taking care of us and for also helping us where we need the support as well here at the Chamber. So I just want to say thank you to everybody out there. I want to say thank you one more time to Erin and Mariko, and I want to say thank you to Square Inc., who stepped up to support this platform and really help to get the word out across our membership and the community as well, and of course our partners at New Mexico Tech. You guys have a great Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow, where we will be actually talking about workforce solutions, unemployment, and also what the employer needs to know about unemployment. So we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.